Welcome to the second video in the first year seminar library instruction tutorial. In our last session, you learned how to access the library catalog and search for books and ebooks for your research projects. Today, I'm going to show you some of the additional resources you have access to through the library and how you can use them. Specifically, we'll be talking about electronic databases and journals and how to find academic articles and other sources for your research projects and papers. Your library account gives you access to more than 100 databases and over 146,000 journals for you to use in your classwork and research. You can access these by going to the Mondor-Egan website, scrolling down, and clicking on the first icon under Library Resources marked Databases. This will bring you to our A to Z Databases page. If you're doing your work on campus, you can access most of these resources without logging in. However, if you're performing work off campus, you will need to make sure you have an active library account, along with a library card number and password, in order to sign in and access the resources. If you don't have a library account, or if you're unsure, you can visit the library or email library@annamaria.edu along with your name, student ID number, AMCATS or annamaria.edu email address, and home address. Someone from the library will use that information to create your account and will reply to your email with an activated library card number and password within 1 business day. Now that you're able to access the online databases, let's talk about how to narrow down the list of databases and find which ones will be right for your project or course of study. At the top of the screen, you will see that there are 3 different drop-down menus that will allow you to filter results on the database list. The first option will allow you to filter by subject. To do this, click on the box that says All Subjects and scan the list below. You can see that there are a variety of subjects listed here to help you narrow down your search. The benefit of selecting a database with a narrower focus is that the articles returned may be more relevant to you or your topic. A potential drawback, however, is that you won't have a wider array of results. Therefore, if you're searching a subject-specific database and not getting very many results, you may want to try a more generalized database and see what you can find there. If you look closely at the All Subjects drop-down list, you'll see that one of the options is General. The benefit of selecting general databases is that it will allow you to view those resources that cover a wide swath of subjects, thus potentially maximizing your search results. A potential drawback, however, is that you might find yourself with too many results and not all of them might be specific to your topic. If that's the case, you can try narrowing your search again using a subject-specific database. You can also try changing your keywords or filtering your results within the database, which we'll talk more about in just a few minutes. Another way you can filter your database options is by database type. Clicking on the drop-down menu will show you a number of different resource types you can use for your project. They include articles, either peer-reviewed academic articles or else articles from newspapers and magazines, ebooks, digital books that are available to you along with your library account, images, which may include photographs, maps, infographics, or tables, newspapers, which provide news articles from papers such as the Boston Globe or other media outlets, open access, resources that have been made freely available online or for scholarly access, reference materials, which are usually items like dictionaries, encyclopedias, research guides, bibliographies, maps or atlases, and directories, and video, digital video clips you can stream, which are usually brief in nature. Typically, your professor will tell you which types of resources they'd like you to use for your projects. For example, they might assign an essay and ask you to use only academic articles or news articles as sources. You can use this tool to help you find what you need for that project. It's also worth noting that some of the databases may contain several different types of resources. For example, Gale databases such as Academic OneFile often contain academic articles as well as articles from magazines, ebooks, news articles, images, and sometimes even video clips. The last way you can filter results is by vendor or provider. This may be useful to you if you find you like the look and feel of a particular database or if one database consistently gives you the best results for your course of study. For example, you may find that you like using EBSCO databases better than Gale databases, or vice versa. Finally, in addition to searching by filter type, you can also search the databases listed in the sidebar to the right. At the top, you'll find our trial databases, or databases that are new to Anna Maria. At the bottom, you'll find a list of the most popular databases, those used most frequently by students and that typically offer the best results. Ultimately, the databases you choose will come down to the type of subject matter you're looking for, as well as your personal search preferences. It's a good idea to experiment with different databases and see which ones work best for you. It's also good to keep in mind that different databases are good for different things. Ask a librarian if you're not sure which ones you should use. Now that you're more familiar with the different types of databases and resources available, let's do a search demo. We're going to pretend that we've been asked to write an essay about how technology affects children. For our essay, we need to use at least one academic article. For our example, we're going to use Academic OneFile. Academic OneFile is a good general database that offers information on a wide array of subjects, and we can be fairly sure it'll have at least some information on our topic. Academic OneFile is also a good starter database because it is easy to use, the interface has a streamlined and intuitive look and feel, and offers information on a variety of subjects. If you find you like the interface of Academic OneFile, you may want to try other Gale databases, which all have a similar look and functionality. You can find Academic OneFile under A on our A to Z database list, or else at the top of the list of popular databases. Clicking on the link will bring you to a page that offers a search bar at the top as well as a few more options below for browsing by subject or topic. For our purposes, we're going to use the search bar to try and find information about our topic, how does technology affect children? To start, we need to think about what search terms we're going to use to perform our search. Unlike Google, databases generally won't respond well if we just pop our whole question into the search box. Instead, we need to narrow in on a few keywords that'll help us get the right results. One good way to go about this is to look at your original search query and remove any unnecessary words. For example, how does technology affect children might become technology affect children. Notice that we use a comma to separate individual terms. If we go ahead and search our keywords, we get a list of results related to our search terms. Sometimes you will have to try many different keywords and keyword combinations to get the best results for your current topic or project. Good research takes time. However, in this case, it looks like we have an ample number of search results to begin with. Before we look at the results, though, there are a few things to be aware of. First, let's take a look at the types of results listed at the top. In this case, we've been given a number of articles from academic journals, a few magazine articles, and a lot of news articles as well. Clicking on each will allow you to view results for only that type of resource. Here, we've automatically been shown results from academic journals, but if I want articles from newspapers, I can click on News, and I will be shown only news articles relating to my keywords. Just below the results bar at the top, you'll also see a drop-down menu that will allow you to arrange your results by newest, oldest, or most relevant. This can be useful if you're looking for the latest research on a particular topic. For instance, since our essay has to do with technology and its effects on children, we're probably going to only want to use the most up-to-date research, since technology is a rapidly changing field. You'll find more ways to filter your results in the right-hand sidebar, and we're going to go over some of those that are the most useful. You can filter by date. For example, let's say our professor has asked us to use sources published within the last 5 years. By clicking on Publication Date, we can use the Calendar tool to set our date range to ensure our results fit the parameters of the assignment. Another way we can filter is by subject. By clicking on the Subject tab, you will be able to see a list of all subjects related to your search results. So if, for example, you want to focus your essay on high school students, you can select it from the list and further narrow down your results. If you find the results are too narrow or aren't giving you exactly what you want, you can hit the back button and return to your list of original search results. Another way we can limit our results is by using the Search Within feature. Clicking on the Search Within box will produce another search box that will allow you to search within your original list of results. So for example, if you wanted to focus your paper on older children or adolescents, you can enter the search term in the box and narrow your results again. Again, if the results are too narrow or if you can't find exactly what you want, you can hit the back button to return to your original list of results. Below the filter buttons, you'll also see a few options that appear beside checkboxes. Full text documents is automatically checked, however you can uncheck it to add abstract-only or citation-only articles to your search results. Generally, these types of documents have limited usefulness as they won't contain the full text of the article. However, if you do find an abstract-only or citation-only entry that you'd like to get the full text for, you can submit an interlibrary loan request, which we'll talk more about at the end of the presentation. Checking the peer-reviewed journals will only return articles from journals that have been peer-reviewed. This means the articles are written by experts in a particular field and are then reviewed by other experts before publication to ensure quality and accuracy. You can also check the documents contains images, which will return results that contain image files, which may be photographs or illustrations, but are more likely to be tables, charts, and graphs or data sets, especially given the topic we're currently searching of children and technology. Now that you know a little bit more about how to search and find sources for your paper, we're going to talk about how to evaluate results and choose the best ones. We're going to continue with our example paper on how technology affects children. The first thing you want to do is scan your list of results to see what looks the most interesting or relevant to the paper you want to write. Let's say I review my list and I want to choose health risks of electronic display devices and safety practice awareness level among children. Clicking on the title will bring me to the article. From here, I can see all sorts of information about the article, such as the author or authors, date of publication, information on the journal that published it, and information on the document itself, including what type of article it is, how long it is, and the article's Lexile level. Moving down the page, I can see the body of the article. This particular article is a study, which includes an abstract. An abstract is a summary of the article that outlines all the main ideas and parts, and reading the abstract is a great way to determine if the article is a good fit for your project. But don't assume that reading the abstract means you don't have to read the article as well. Reading the abstract will give you a good overview of the topic at hand, but the article will be much more nuanced and will contain the information you need to have a firm grasp on the subject and provide the context you need to write your own paper. Also, make sure you don't quote the abstract. Even if the abstract has the perfect quote, you really want to make sure that you're quoting from and citing the main article. If professors see you have cited the abstract, they may assume you did not read the whole article. Instead, it's better to use the abstract as a key to finding the more substantial information within the article itself, and to quote or cite that information. Just below the abstract, you may find a list of keywords. These are search terms related to the topic included in your article. Therefore, if you're having trouble finding other articles similar or related to the one you've already chosen, and remember, many assignments will require you to have more than one source, you can use these suggested keywords in place of the ones you've originally chosen, and you can search Academic OneFile again with the new terms. Scrolling further down, below the abstract and below the body of the article, you'll find references or bibliography. These are the research materials that the study author used to create the article. It may be worth scanning the list to see if anything there would be useful to you in your own research, but keep in mind the parameters of your assignment as well. The articles used may be too old or not relevant enough to be a good fit for your paper. Finally, below the references and the table appendices here, you can scroll all the way down to the source citations. Academic OneFile and all Gale databases will help you build your citations in either MLA, APA, Chicago, or Harvard-style formatting. However, read the disclaimer. It will caution you to check the provided citations against the latest citation rules or any rules that may have been provided by your professor for the assignment in question. We'll touch briefly on citations again at the end of this presentation. Okay. So let's assume that we've read the abstract and we've decided we'd like to save this article to read for later, in hopes that it will be a good fit for our assignment. There are a few ways to do this. At the top of the screen, you'll see a menu bar with several options. You can either send yourself the article, either as an email or through your Google Drive or OneDrive account, by clicking the Send To icon. You can download the article as a PDF by clicking on the download icon, or you can print the article and have a hard copy to refer back to. Do not try to bookmark or save the URL in hopes of returning to the article later. Gale and most databases use temporary URLs to display search results, and these links will no longer be active once you end your search session. Now that you understand how to do a basic search and evaluation of articles on Academic OneFile, you can use these skills in other databases. Each one is likely to be slightly different in content and presentation, so make sure to look carefully at the different options and filters presented to you. And of course, if you have any questions, you can visit or email the library for help. Beyond databases, there are a few other library tools that can be useful when writing a research paper. One of these tools is Interlibrary Loan. If you've come across an abstract or citation-only article that you would like full access to, or if you've searched using another database such as Google Scholar and found an article you'd like to use but isn't owned by Anna Maria, you can request an interlibrary loan. To do this, visit the library homepage and click on the envelope labeled Interlibrary Loan and fill out the resulting form. That form is sent to us at the library, and we in turn look for libraries across the country who own the item and may be willing to lend it to us. We submit your request and then wait to hear back from potential lenders. When the article arrives, you will receive an email from ill@annamaria.edu with instructions on how to access and download your article. Articles typically take between 1 to 3 days to arrive. However, in some cases, if the article is rare, hard to find, or if it has licensing restrictions, it may take longer, so keep that in mind when you're planning your work and give yourself plenty of time. Rarely, there will be an item that cannot be loaned via ILL. If this is the case, we'll let you know as soon as possible so you can adjust your research plans accordingly. Remember, if you're having trouble with this or with any part of the research process, you can contact us for help. Once you have the sources you plan to use for your paper, you'll need to create a bibliography, also called a works cited or references page. The bibliography contains a list of citations indicating the resources used to create your paper. Your professor may ask you to compose your bibliography using a certain style, such as MLA, APA, or Chicago style. You can find help creating citations in our research guides. Simply click on the icon labeled Research Guides, scan down the alphabetical list, and click on Citations. Here, you'll find some general information about citations as well as links to library reference materials such as the latest citation manuals. You'll also find separate pages for each citation style. On these pages, there are examples for citing all of the different types of resources you might come across, as well as sample papers showing you how to correctly apply in-text and bibliographical citations. Now that you know how to access our online databases, search for and evaluate materials, and create bibliographic citations, you are well equipped to start your research paper. However, if you need further assistance navigating the many databases available here at Anna Maria, there are a number of video tutorials available for you to watch on our library website, including this very presentation. You can access these videos by visiting the library website and clicking on the icon labeled Video Tutorials. This will take you to our YouTube page, which contains a number of videos and playlists to help you conduct your research using resources available at the library. There are playlists specifically for help with the research process, as well as tutorials that will teach you how to navigate our various databases. To see a replay of this video, select Videos for Specific Classes playlist, and then click First Year Seminar, Accessing Databases. This concludes our video presentation on accessing databases through the library for research. Remember, if at any time you need help with your research, with using the online databases, or with citations, you can contact the library. Stop by the library or email library@annamaria.edu for account or access issues and reference@annamaria.edu for research assistance. We are always happy to help.